Okay, so we have a new episode of Legends and Leaders, and today it's great to have Driss here. So you're behind a pretty interesting company in the DeFi space, Exponential.fi, which was just pretty recently launched, and your goal is to make DeFi something that is much more accessible than what has been currently out there, and the advantages with DeFi, being yields and the earning potential there. And I think it's really great that that's something that you're focusing on, and you've got an incredible tech background being in a pretty influential role at Uber and other tech companies too, to have a breadth of knowledge of what's needed to make great consumer products. So I'm excited to have you here and to get into your story.
All right. Thanks for having me, Ben. Excited to be here.
Awesome. So early on, how did your interest in technology and then eventually entrepreneurship, how did that kind of begin?
Yeah, it all started, about 20 years ago. I was out of college, started my career in Wall Street in London, did 2 internships over there and realized I want to build stuff. I want to change the world. So I decided to drop that, head over to Silicon Valley, Stanford, and that was my entry into entrepreneurship. And winded up spending over a decade in the Valley and getting incredible experiences, meeting incredible people. And I think, as you mentioned, one of the most transformational and interesting one was being relatively early at Uber and seeing the incredible growth that happened there and being part of that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And what did you see in Uber early on that made you want to join?
Yeah. So it comes down to the people. So Uber and Travis were able to attract incredible talent there. It's like a lot of the employees were people who could be entrepreneurs or have been entrepreneurs, successful ones, but decided to join the company instead because it was such an incredible group of people and such an incredible vision. So I was very grateful to work alongside a bunch of entrepreneurs. And you can see right now the ex-Uber mafia has founded a good amount of startups, and that tells about the quality of people over there. So, and then from there, it's like in addition to the people, it's just a global growth that went with the company and the hustling culture that was there. It was like truly an entrepreneurial culture. Fall on your face 20 times, stand back up, and the 21st time you'll make it happen, or fall on your face 100 times even. Yeah, until it works. Yeah.
So is that how you learn to take risks and stuff like that?
I think I've continued to learn that over my journey at Uber, but it started earlier. It started coming to the US with a suitcase and saying, "Hey, all right, I'm here. What's up? Let's make it happen." So that was my. I grew up. I grew up in Morocco. Went to college in France, and decided to leave that behind and come over here to join the tech world. Yeah,
because you thought America had the best opportunities to raise capital, build something, so you wanted to be here.
That's right. That's right. It's pretty special to be able to think of something today, build it tomorrow, and have users use it pretty quickly. That's very few places in the world allow you to do that. So yeah.
What would you say were the biggest takeaways or learning experiences that you had from working at Uber and Zynga? And I mean, these are great consumer forward facing businesses that have helped you in what you're building today.
Yeah. So I would say the first one is shoot high. So you show up somewhere at Uber and you're like, oh, my goal is 10. And then often the answer is no, your goal is 100. And you go from 10 to 100 and you may not reach 100, you may reach 70, but you still went from 10 to 70 because you're shoot it high and went for way more than what you could achieve and got really creative to get there. So that was one key learning, and the other one is around just thinking big, breakthrough innovation, and not being in a box, but really pushing the boundaries, thinking outside the box, and so on and so forth. And so that could be hey. Today you're in the US, tomorrow you have a problem in your China business, you're taking a one-way ticket to China for like a month and a half, which I did to fix a problem over there. And I was like, okay, I'm not coming back till it's done. And then a month later, I'm back. Month and a half later, I'm back, and I'm like, okay, it's done. That type of hustle and like experience is pretty unique. Yeah.
Definitely. So, how did the idea for Exponentialfi happen?
Yeah. So after Uber, I took a little bit of a break, then came back to entrepreneurial land, and I was like exploring a bunch of ideas. And my co-founder Mehdi, who's like a crypto degen, as they call them, has been talking to me about building a crypto startup for years now. And then he was on my couch in LA, I remember, and he was managing like over $50 million for friends and family for free, just helping them invest in crypto. And then he was trying to move them to DeFi to earn yield.
Mm-hmm.
And so, because it made sense, they were all long-term crypto investors, more passive. And so you want to put your crypto to work. And he saw the best way of doing that was DeFi. But then it was incredibly hard. He had like wallets all over the place, keys all over the place, this crazy spreadsheet to track performance, which like would like crash every hour. He did weeks of research to figure out which protocols were legitimate and what level of risk, and which ones were scams. He was like sending $1 million through a bridge, and then like I saw his face color changing because he's like, is it going to show up on the other side? Like bridges interfaces can be clunky, and like I was like, okay, so you're managing like 8 figures, and you're doing it with spreadsheets and like this whole thing you've done. We gotta productize this. I saw the opportunity, and I got really excited with DeFi because yield and compounding is at the basis of financial freedom. And with it, with DeFi, you access yield that was previously reserved for banks. But now you get that as a user. Very powerful, but very hard to use. So you have an ecosystem that gives you a promise, but that can't deliver on its promise for most people who need a much simpler experience. So that was drop everything you're doing moment and go build Exponentialfi. And from there, we built the all-in-one investment platform to invest in DeFi with institutional grade security and lots of bells and whistles and so on and so forth. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So you had, a problem that you wanted to solve. It made sense, the solution that you were developing. But there's also kind of this other problem that's happened because there's been certain things in the industry that this like lack of trust. How do you think you've designed your platform to counteract that?
Yeah, great question. So we started, let's build an investment platform, but I was like, okay, I'm not comfortable having people invest on my platform if they don't understand what they're investing in.
Mm-hmm.
And so the first thing we built is actually a risk platform as a result, a risk and research platform. So we mapped out all of DeFi into what we call a DeFi graph. And then we grade things from A to F with like transparent metric. You can see why is it an A, why is it a B, why is it a C, and so on and so forth. And we started as an informational platform. So current DeFi users would come, use this feature called the Rate My Wallet. You could input your wallet and it gives you a risk rating per our model. That feature had about 23 billion rated to it on our platform. And we have like 90% plus of DeFi TVL covered with that platform, but it was the basis of everything. You can't invest if you don't understand risk. Now you can say, hey, I can go earn 3% on my Ethereum on Lido staking. It's graded A. It's battle tested. It has billion in TVL. It has good design and so on and so forth. It has audits. Or I can go do this new protocol that's rated C that's giving me double-digit yield, but here are the risks that go with it. And am I comfortable with it? So transparency on data is at the basis. And then the second thing is the way we design our investment platform. We have some pretty strict design principles. Everything is one-to-one. So when you invest through us, you get one token for like basically in your account per investment. and so on and so forth. You can withdraw at any time. We never lend or repurpose funds. We're effectively an access layer. We do not package things. We do not create financial instruments. It's about accessing DeFi and having the right data to access it. Yeah.
So the rating system is really what gave people the insight into the risks they're taking, so they're very aware of that.
That's right. Yeah. The rating system builds trust because you're like, we're not just trying to have you invest. We're trying to have you invest in things that are a match for you and that you understand. So that created an enormous amount of trust for our investors and so on and so forth. And hey, some users don't even invest through us; they just use the risk platform, and we're happy about that because, like, if you're do-it-yourself type of user, you use a decentralized wallet, and you're technical, great. We've given you the data to do it, and then if you're new and want to simplify DeFi experience, then you can invest through us. So our risk platform is all free and available to everyone. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So, there's a lot of things going on in DeFi. What are you most excited about to build upon that's happening in the DeFi space?
Yeah. So, ultimately, what I'm most excited about is access. So I know it's a broad answer, but the ecosystem is incredible. You can do staking, market making, lending, and bridging. Those are the four main jobs right now, and so that's there's a myriad of opportunities on DeFi to allow you to earn yield. So the first thing I'm excited about is access and simplification. So I want my mother-in-law. I want my cousin who's never done crypto before to be able to come in, understand it, and invest in DeFi. And so we're like one of the first platform where you can wire in large amounts from your bank account into DeFi in less than 24 hours. And that's very, very powerful, effectively, with a simple experience. So we are focused on pushing the boundary on simplification and on user experience. Our current product allows you to invest in individual liquidity pools in DeFi. So you still need a certain level of technicality. It's one click, it's simple, but you still need to say, I'm choosing this, I'm choosing that. We're working on like experiences right now that simplify building a portfolio of things for users. So you don't necessarily need to go and place 10 trades. You can, based on your risk profile, decide on a portfolio of pools and then execute them in one click, and then over time rebalance them. That will be a very powerful experience to bring in the next billion people into DeFi. And then, so that is kind of the broad answer. Now, the more kind of specific to DeFi answer is I'm quite excited about yield on Bitcoin. So we're not there yet, but there is a lot of innovation into layer twos and so on and so forth coming in, which will allow investors to earn yield on Bitcoin, because it's been limited so far. Like yields on Bitcoin typically are low, 1 to 2%, etc. You have some use cases and some innovations, like there is some bridging protocols that we offer on our platform that offer, for example, 4 or 5% on Bitcoin, but it's only the beginning. I think there is a great wave of innovation that can bring in yield generation on Bitcoin, which will be obviously game changing, because it's the first crypto, the largest crypto, and can be very powerful for people who are long-term holders. And can put it to work in DeFi to earn yield and so on and so forth. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Do you think there's going to be a lot of education needed there to help the average person understand Bitcoin yields?
Yeah, I think in general, not only Bitcoin yield, because like ultimately, whether it's Bitcoin, Ethereum, or Solana, yield comes from four main jobs today. I mentioned it earlier. It's mostly staking, so validating blockchain transaction, market making, which is when you go to the airport, that little desk that does exchanges for euros in US and earns fees in between, that the smart contract does exactly that. if you simplify it. Then there is lending with collateral, and then there's bridging, which is moving money across chain. So ultimately, whether it's Bitcoin or any currency, you can categorize earning yield into these 4 buckets. There will be more use cases in the future, potentially insurance, which is still nascent in DeFi, and other things. But today, it's actually primarily staking and lending. Even market making and bridging are still small. We're looking at like 85% plus of DeFi TVL is staking and lending today. So there's still room for a lot of innovation. But to go back to your question, the number one question we get, especially around, so the first question is, can I trust you? We're like, yes, risk ratings, here's how we design our platform, and so on and so forth. And so we have our a full, like, transparent description of what we do. We also have a show, don't tell. You can click a button and see where your money is at, and lots of features that allow the user to get comfortable. The second question is, where does the yield come from? And so we spend a lot of time in the experience explaining that. We actually have a nice 2-minute video coming up on that. That's like simplifies kind of yield explanation across DeFi, and so education is key in this ecosystem and in yield generation. And we started the company that way. Our risk and research platform is effectively an educational platform. So we have like an entire report, which is like human readable and friendly, not super technical, or at least parts of it are not super technical and understandable, so that you can read about pretty much anything in DeFi on the Exponentialfi platform today. So some users just use it to basically assess before making an investment decision, and it's all about data and transparency there. Yeah.
And why did you want to call it Exponentialfi?
That's a good question. I mean, exponential is the curve you'd want to look at with compounding and yield, right? So that's why we call it this self description of the product value proposition. Yeah.
So it's like excite the users.
Yeah, excite the user, and also tell them what it is. Like if like what's great with yield is like market goes up, market goes down, you're still earning yield. And with crypto, it's valuable because it's volatile. And so it's very powerful to be able to generate income regardless of market trends, and in the long term, obviously, it creates that exponential curve. Yeah.
So, how different is this crypto world from your previous world of being an Uber and fintech there? The traditional fintech space versus this new crypto space.
Yeah, that's a good question. So, crypto is wilder. Like a lot wilder, in a good way, in many ways, and in less good ways in other ways. But it's I'll start with the commonalities. In what we're building, there is a lot of stuff that you can reuse from a fintech background, from an architecture perspective, from a security perspective, and so on and so forth. That comes from Web2. Now, there's a lot of things that are specific to crypto and DeFi, for example, level of decentralization, and so on and so forth. And with that respect, like there are commonalities, there are differences, and within our team, we try to maintain a balance. Some people have more of a fintech background, other have more of a crypto background, and there is a healthy like debate and discussion around the two. But what's nice about crypto is I think there is more pushing the boundary in terms of innovation, and so a lot of like fintech has been trying to pull off, for example, peer-to-peer lending for a long time, right? And crypto has done it, right? Because a smart contract, effectively, where you're earning yield through lending, is a form of peer-to-peer lending. There is a lender, there is a borrower, there is a computer in between that executes that, and it's done it in a fully automated way without humans being involved, in a fully decentralized way. That's a very powerful achievement for crypto. And something that fintech has been trying to do for a long time. So there is a lot of great innovation. And that's why when I say wild in a good way, that's what I mean. It's pushing the boundaries, innovating. Automated market making is an incredible innovation as well, with like all the protocols that have that have created that. And it's effectively replicating the airport desk I was talking about, effectively, and putting it in a smart contract and automating it in a very simplified term. Obviously, it's more complex than that. And so you're looking at, and that's actually why I decided to work on crypto. When 5 years ago, 10 years ago, when Mehdi was talking to me about it, I was like, you know what? It's too speculative for me right now. When DeFi came in, it moved from like being purely speculative to being a platform that can replicate in a decentralized manner a lot of the traditional financial system. And that's very powerful. You're now looking at a platform where you can have hundreds of protocols flourishing, replicating the traditional financial system in a better way, in a way that's decentralized, that's free, that's transparent, and so on and so forth. And so DeFi has effectively created an avenue for financial innovation. Yeah.
I think it's quite an exciting one too, especially with what you're doing by helping to bring people outside the space into it that maybe don't fully understand it yet, and that's a huge opportunity. So, just the last question I have: what do you want to accomplish now? What are maybe some of your short-term or long-term goals over the next 5 to 10 years?
Yeah, I mean, I want to bring in the next billion people into DeFi. That's the goal here. Ultimately, yeah. Ultimately, I'm quite excited about the ecosystem. The ecosystem needs an access layer that truly simplifies access and usage of the ecosystem, and that's what we're building effectively. You have DeFi in here, you have an access layer, and so on and so forth, and you doing it in a way that focuses on two things: ease of use, and then security at the macro level. If you go into more of the details, it has to be all in one. Because for a regular accredited investor to come in and use the platform, for example, they're going to want easy funding, one-click trading, easy taxes, easy portfolio management, analytics. All of that needs to come, and you're like, okay, now I have the experience that I need to be able to use DeFi. And a lot of like traditional financial companies have achieved that for Web 2, but it's not there yet for Web 3. And so we're building just that, the level of simplification and of feature needed for bringing in the next wave of investor into DeFi. And I'm pretty excited about making that happen and continuing to be the access layer for DeFi as it is today, but also as it will be in 10 years. Yeah.
I think it's definitely a big goal, and it's exciting to build something that can make this possible, and that's pretty innovative too. So I appreciate you taking the time to do this and share your story, and I look forward to seeing how the platform can grow.
All right. Well, thank you for having me, Ben. Excited to be here.
Awesome.